But the long debate is over, and the new beginning has just begun. We will win this battle.
This might be a model for America. Welcome back to The Ed Show. That was Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy yesterday before signing a massive education reform bill into law. With public education under fire in this country, with funding getting cut all over the place, with teachers under attack, Connecticut has proven that reform can happen. And it can happen with bipartisan support. It can happen with giving teachers a seat at the table. $100 million will be spent on improving Connecticut schools with the focus on low-performing city schools. There will be also more opportunities for early childhood education in low-income communities. That is vital. And there will be performance evaluations for school principals, teachers, and administrators. How did they get this done in this political climate? Republicans and Democrats actually working together. And they got there with the input from teachers. The Hartford Courant reports that during the bill's early stages, lawmakers were criticized for listening to union leaders. And it turned out keeping teachers in the loop was beneficial. I'm joined tonight by Randi Weingarten. She is the president of the American Federation of Teachers, and Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy. Great to have both of you here. Governor, you first. Governor, how confident were you that you were going to be able to get an agreement with all the players at the table, and how hard was it to do?
Well, listen, making change is hard. That's a reality. But I was confident that we could get to a package that I could support, that everyone could support. The biggest danger to democracy and the hallmark of that danger would be a permanent underclass without hope. That's what we started to create for a period of time. And I think we're going to correct that behavior and understand that all of our children can learn. And we've got to adapt, and we've got to change, and we've got to work together, and we've got to hold parents, students, and teachers accountable, along with school administrators.
Randi Weingarten, it's about the money. What happens here?
Well, look, I have to give a lot of credit to the governor, the legislative leadership in Connecticut, because this was a very ambitious agenda to do a lot of things at the same time. And what the governor realized is you can't do this without an investment. And that's why there's an investment in early childhood, in the wraparound services, and in the wherewithal to do the turning around of low-performing schools and the kind of continuous evaluation and development that teachers need to be to improve their craft.
Governor Malloy, why didn't you just cut 6,000 teachers the way your guy over in New Jersey did, Chris Christie? Why didn't you go down that road?
Listen, a year ago, I plugged a $270 million hole into funding that would have done that. And this year, we're putting another $100 million into schools. Listen, if you take money out of schools, they're not going to perform as well as they need to perform. Now, listen, we all have to get real serious about helping poor kids learn. And we've got to change the way we do it. We know what works. We have to be willing to invest in it. Early childhood is a big part of that. Randi has some great ideas. We brought Randi to the state to talk to us about what it would take to turn schools around. And she's really a national leader, has done so much on this issue. And this has been a process. Listen, there were some elbows thrown in Connecticut. There were some ruffled feathers. I probably ruffled some of those feathers. But the reality is we got the deal done. And we're now in a position to do something that other states aren't doing right now.
What's the biggest change here, Randi?
The biggest change was that the governor and the legislative leadership trusted that, even with the elbows thrown, that we get to the end and do what we needed to do for the benefit of children. So the eyes were on how are we going to help kids in a state that doesn't have unlimited money, but how are we going to target the resources and do the 4 or 5 things that we have to do to turn around schools. So the real issue, the real story here is that Connecticut became the model of collaboration in terms of the policy. Now the hard work starts in terms of really doing the work in this bill.
Governor, did you have to cut jobs to get this done?
No, we're not looking to cut jobs. I had the biggest per capita deficit of all 50 states just over a year ago. We went a different way. It was too big to tax our way out and too big to cut our way out. And yes, we had to change some of our relationships, but we got that job done. That's why we have $100 million more to put into education this year. That's why we're committed to turning around the 30 low-performing districts and the 25 lowest-performing schools. And that's why we're going to do this together as opposed to trying to divide and conquer.
Quickly, Randi, is this a national model?
This is a great model of cooperation and working together, both in terms of developing policy and moving forward. I give the governor in Connecticut a lot of props. compare that to what's going on in a lot of places around the
Sure.
nation of cut, and creating real negativity for kids.
Randi Weingartner and also Governor Dan Malloy. Great to have you on the Ed Show tonight. It's a success story we like to hear. That's the Ed Show. I'm Ed Schultz. The Rachel Maddow Show starts right now. Good evening, Rachel.
Good